Thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, today we're going to be talking about The Darkening by Sunya Mara. I really like the story. I will say it is a bit of a slow start. It does follow Vesper Vale, and she is the daughter of failed revolutionaries. So she's been living on the run with her father for about the last 12 years. And then one incident, partly because of her, brings the royal guard to her home. And then her and her father have to go on the run. They separate again. He gets captured. Disaster happens. So she is set on this course to break into the palace somehow, some way. She has no plan. And then free her father. Yeah. Again, it does have a bit of a slow start. I did read the reviews for it after I finished it because that's something I do. Personally, I see where a lot of people are coming from. For the longest time when I was reading this book, I didn't know what an icon was. But as the story continues, you're able to use the context clues. An icon is like a symbol. It's sort of like a hieroglyphic almost. And you layer these symbols upon, or runes, for instance. Runes are hieroglyphics. I say hieroglyphics because of how they talk about the icons. You can make something new. They're like a language you have to learn. You can know, and the same way with hieroglyphics, you layered images on top of images to either make a new word or do a sentence. The longer you stretch it. So I thought that was really, really interesting with the icons, and that's part of the fantasy in this story. You are drawing a symbol, and then you can layer a symbol on top of it, and you can make something new. You can make magic by layering these symbols together, and I think that was really interesting as far as the world building goes. It's not, I will say this, it's not really obvious as you're reading it what an icon is, but on the other hand, as you're reading it, it is somewhat obvious what an icon is, and that was a lot of discussion with the reviews I was reading. A lot of people had no idea what they were, and then a lot of people were just like, it's kind of obvious, and it's just like, I guess it depends on how you read the story. So that's why I wanted to talk about the icons a lot, because I saw a lot of controversy on Goodreads regarding these icons, and I'm just like, it blows my mind how that's somewhat a controversy, the fact that people read differently. They absorb things differently. I like to say they're like art, you perceive them in such different ways. You're looking at a bowl of fruit. Someone might just see a bowl of fruit. Someone might see something else, Someone might see the luxury of wealth in that bowl, for instance. It's how you perceive things, and everyone perceives things differently, So sometimes a banana is just a banana. Let me use that. So it's all about how you read and how you perceive, and that's why I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because it was a little bit of a controversy on Goodreads. That being said, I also like the story because of that fantasy. I really did like the world building. There's a lot of mystery in the world building because you have this city, and it's like rings around it, and outside the rings of the city, it used to be lavish forest land, and now it's a storm, and the storm is closing in on the center, and really the king or queen has to take in the god who protects them. The god is becoming weaker. So there's a lot of mystery regarding that, and there's lots of mystery regarding the storm. And I'm trying to phrase this in a way so I don't spoil it, but there's a lot of symbolism in the story. You have to pay attention to the symbols in the story. Even the ones that don't seem like they're important, they are important. And I love that layering, because just like with the icons, Sunya is layering these elements of mystery on top of each other to create a really good plot. And for me personally, it all ties together very neatly and very nicely to me, and it flows very, very well. And part of the reason it flows so well is because of the characterization. Vesper she doesn't really have a lot of belief in herself as a character, and you kind of get that from her father. Like, he wants to protect her, but sometimes the way he says things, it makes her feel like a failure, and you see that. However, once she's infiltrated in the castle and she comes face to face with Cass and Prince Dalka, you're seeing how witty she is and how clever she is and how kind of stubborn she is. I like that about her, because by the end of the novel, she comes face to face with a god and she challenges him, and she's just like, do your worst. She goes from believing she's a failure to challenging a god. I mean, that whole character arc for her was just so captivating. And Sunya, she didn't neglect the side characters either. They all go through such amazing character arcs. I mean, the moment they all go into the storm together, because the storm curses you, you are seeing Cass and Iz and Dalka and Vesper. You're seeing them face their inner darkness, their fears, their insecurities. You're seeing them face everything that darkens their spirits. And some of them come out a little broken from it, but stronger, because they were forced to face what they don't want to face. And that was so, it was really good. Let me just put it that way. It was so captivating to me. And I went from hating some of these characters to just being like, I love you. I love you, dude. I'll say it, Cass. Oh my God. He was such a dick early on in the book, and I thought, oh my God, I hate this guy. There's no way he's going to be able to redeem himself. And then redemption came, and I'm like, kind of like Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones, the show. You know, you went from hating him to pitying him to rooting for him, and then crying when he died. That's kind of how I feel. Not that he dies, but all the characters, and he's pretty much the best example. They all go through such extensive character arcs, and I like that because it shows the depth of the characterization. So the characters are really the driving force of the novel, along with all the layering of the plot and mystery that all seem to interweave together. To me, it's a slow and steady novel, but once you get to that storm, it just picks up. You know, it just skyrockets and goes faster and faster and faster. It was so well done and well executed. Like, I'm excited for the sequel. I really am. But, you know, to each their own. Not every book is for every person. Like I said, people read things differently. So there were a lot of mixed reviews for this book. Personally, I did love it. Again, I was able to connect to the characters because they felt very real to me. They felt very, yeah, they were grounded and real, and they have the personalities, and they balance each other out. So those character dynamics are also well done. And honestly, it was just such a journey reading this book. So I'm going to go ahead and give The Darkening 4 out of 5 stars. Very good book. Super excited for the sequel. 4.5. Very excited for the sequel. If you want to go ahead and check out this book, I recommend purchasing it from your local bookseller, online book retailer. I will include links in the description below. Clicking on any of these links does help support me and the Sims Workshop channel, because they are affiliate links, except for the Barnes & Noble one. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me Coffee with a one-time donation, or by liking and subscribing to my channel and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.